Okay. What? Close my blinds over there. What? I'm like 2 minutes and 14 seconds till I start my training call. So I got the countdown timer going. I can talk. What you need? Good morning. Hope you're doing great. Hope your day is going well. I'm going to have an amazing day. I can feel it coming already just because I get to be on here with you amazing people. I see Carol Garner on here, and she says she's striving, trying to get it happening. She says she likes our wellness reset board content that's coming. Yes, it's going to be amazing. But I would love for a few more of you to answer that question. If you had to choose right now, no time to think over and process in your life, would you describe yourself as surviving, striving, drifting, or thriving? We're going to talk about those. This is kind of our little special training for the month. Trying to think about accelerating into 2026. You know what's so funny is you guys turn on the algorithms and you wake everybody up and you maybe invite people that you want to join us this morning. I can see there are about 20 of you, but I would love for y'all to engage. It makes me feel like you're there. So just say hello, thumbs up. Just pacify me and let me know you're paying attention and you're there. There's Carol, another Carol. We have Marcia. Marcia's surviving businesses. She's progressing. She made up a new word. It wasn't one of the choices. Anyway, so what I would love for you guys to be thinking about while we're getting ready here is, number one, where are you in those four categories? And I want to explain to you, I got myself confused this month. Hey, Karen. Hey, Maria. Originally, before Hope and me and Christy and Ethany and a bunch of amazing people, about 60 or 70 amazing leaders, agreed to share videos, and we pulled together this wellness reset for 2026. I kind of thought my word for the end of the year to get focused was for us to reset. So me and Hope and Trey had created all these slides and marketing and promotional materials, and we called it Reset 2026. And then we named the kick off the new year the Wellness Reset. And I've got so many things coming at me with the word reset on them. I got confused as to which one I was addressing in the moment. So this is really more about the bigger picture of ending 2025 and starting 2026, kind of assessing where we are and moving to a right quadrant. We're going to talk about four quadrants. But I wanted to see, Hope, are you on here? I know she's got lots of year-end stuff going on with Mary Grace, Christmas, preschool. But Hope, if you're on here, could you please put the link to the Wellness Reset Partner Board in here just so everybody has it? Because I know a lot of people want to know about that. We're super excited about that. And if you want to put some questions in here, I'll try and answer them. But let's dive into what we're kind of our topic that we've been talking about. And I'm going to change scenery here for you guys. And I want to ask you, what type of life are you living? That was the question I posed for you. But you don't have to really be happy with your life. But I've been reading a book, and as you want to maybe not be a Sherpa, maybe you're not trying to climb a mountain, but you're on a journey and you're willing to have people walk alongside you. Okay. So you're on a journey, you're willing to have people walk alongside you. And the question that I want you to ask or begin to ask is, where do you want to go? Because I want to help you get there. Where do you want to go? Because I want to help you get there. And that's the way I feel this morning with you guys is, what type of life are you living? Maybe we're not specifically talking about a destination this morning. Maybe we're just talking about, four places or quadrants. And, the upper right-hand quadrant, that thriving is where we want to go. But if you look at the axis here, one of them, the up and down axis in the middle, that's mission. And it's really hard to read because that's tiny print, but it says purpose and passion. If you can't read that, maybe we can get a graphic and throw it in the spot here. Carol Gardner, can I ask you to do me a favor? Since Hope's not, I don't think Hope is here. Maybe she is. Oh, Sharon McClellan. There it is. Sharon just put the, I think, is the board's link in there too, Sharon? Yes, it is. Okay, the board's link is in the bottom of what Sharon posted. Thank you for doing that, Sharon. I'm not sure where Hope is right this minute. So if you need the reset stuff, it's there. I want to make sure we had that in there for you guys. But so you got the vertical line is mission, which is purpose and passion, and then the horizontal axis line is making, which is work and impact. So you've got a mission that you're trying to make it happen. Okay, you've got the mission and you're trying to make it happen. And that upper right-hand quadrant would be you being on mission and you feel like you're actively doing the things to make it happen. Okay, that's the way I want to feel on January 1st. Would y'all agree that when January 1st rolls around, or maybe the 2nd, maybe you're still watching football, because hopefully I'm going to be, I will be. I'm going to be in New Orleans watching the Sugar Bowl that day, watching the Georgia Bulldogs play somebody. Both of them have new coaches. And Carol Garner, I think, is going to be there too. But anyway, so on January the 1st, January the 2nd, when the new year turns the corner, I want to feel like that I'm on mission. Number one, I know what my mission is. I know where I want to go. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. And yes, the company's mission statement, they would, like legally define it as inspiring healthy living around the world. I think you can take that and that be maybe the bigger mission that the company's doing. And how do you define your mission within that or make that a part of your mission? I mean, I will be honest with you. I've kind of redefined mine, and that's building healthy families around the world. Instead of inspiring healthy living, I want to build healthy families. I don't want to impact one person. I want to make the mom, the dad, the kids, the grandparents. I want to have multi-generational impact on families. So I want to build healthy families around the world and starting, as close to home as possible and spreading out. And then what am I doing? How am I going to impact that? Well, I can only do so much myself. And then I've got to build the army around me so that they buy into that mission with me and we can have a bigger impact together, So where are we on that? And you may need to work on, and I'm happy to talk with any of you guys. You may need to work on what's your mission within the mission. I mean, and there's two ways to look at it. You can have a mission within the company's mission, so you can break that down into a smaller component, or maybe you know what your bigger mission is. And I can tell you mine just so we're being straightforward and transparent with each other. I feel like my mission that God's given me is this, and it's to know him better each and every day. And I could in detail define how, but it starts with my quiet time. But to know him better every day so that the people that he has me come in contact with that don't yet know him, that my knowledge of him might be contagious so that they would know him. Okay, so that's my bigger overall, what I feel like I'm called to do every day is to get up and know him better, because he's going to put people in my path that don't yet know him, and I need to be equipped so that they can know him. Okay, but then you take the Juice Plus mission, where does that fit? Well, part of the people I'm going to run into are because of this business, or the other people that God helps me run into that holistically I can impact their life too, as they begin to know God. And maybe it's like, I know that God said your body's a temple of the Holy Spirit. That's the beginning of you making a decision that you're supposed to treat it and have it be healthy. You want to have God wants a healthy temple, So whatever that looks like for you. But so maybe you need some work on your purpose, passion, your why. And I'm happy to have a phone call with any of you guys and we can work on that. That's something I love doing. And then you have to have a plan. What's your strategy to implement making that happen? So we're trying to head towards thriving, but we could be in any one of those places, okay? So probably some of us move in and out of some of those places. So like surviving, think of it as a ship without a sea. How does that feel? I mean, are any of you boat people? I don't know if Henry or Jennifer Hageman are on here, either one of them. But there's Jennifer Hageman. She's on here. She's a boat person. They've spent time restoring and have an amazing boat. And I know Henry grew up being a boat person. So surviving, to me, this was the illustration that Trey and I came up with. It was like a ship without a sea. And it feels like your life is living you. How does that sound? Every day isn't a bad day, but people who are surviving are searching for a deep purpose. Sometimes they head to bed at night wondering what they did that day. That's a sad thought. They go to bed wondering what they did that day. They are seeking for more purpose in their life and hope that one day their work might make a difference in their world or those around them. A ship without a sea. That's sad. That's like a turtle on a fence post to me, you know? How in the world did it get there? Well, we know the boat could have gotten there from a high tide, low tide situation or a storm or whatever, but I do always wonder how the turtle got on that post. But some of you right now, if you were honest with yourself, and the good thing is, this is not about assessing where you are and like becoming the victim. This is about assessing where you are because you know you want to be in that thriving quadrant. You know that, but you have to kind of like, why do I feel the way I do? Why am I in the mess I'm in? So if you're in a surviving mode, it's okay. I mean, there's in this quadrant picture, there are lots of people in every place, okay? I just want to help you see we can get to thriving, but there's a journey and a process to get there, okay? So just I don't know I should have done I should have talked to Charlie, my Chat GPT agent. If I ever tell y'all I've been talking to Charlie, that means I've been talking to Chat GPT. That is officially what Lori and Hope have named my Chat GPT robot. So when I talk to Charlie, he gives me answers. But anyway, I should have asked. I don't know what percentage of people are in each of these categories in the moment. But let's hit the next category, striving. So some of you are in that surviving category where, I mean, I'm going to use maybe you go to bed kind of clueless. What did I do today? You know, here I am, a boat, and I'm supposed to be in the ocean. Where's my ocean? I mean, the rudder's not working because there's no water to stick it in. The wind can't move you when you're sitting on rock bottom, you know? So maybe some of you are just in survival mode. Some of you are in striving mode, and this is very different. If you go back and look at our illustration, striving, if you look at those axes, the striving person is really good and is really making accomplishments and achievements and is really gaining ground in the area of work, impact. They are doing the do. And we might call this sometimes a busy person. And Paul talked a lot about that in Scripture. I mean, he would go back as he was building the church, like we're building our business. It's a great study. If you ever want to study a leader growing something that lasts and has impact, look at how Paul built the church. But one of the churches in Thessalonica, he kept telling them, they kept saying, look at what we're doing, look at what we're doing. He said, yeah, you're busy, but you're busy about the wrong things. And that striving person, I think, gives themselves a trophy for being busy. And let me just read to you what I wrote kind of to describe this person, okay? It says this person spends 8 or more hours of their day bound to their work. They try to consider their future purpose or passions, but often don't have time for ever being able to truly focus on meaning. They have a social life and have fun on the weekends, but work is the constant drum that life beats to. Many in this fear to risk short-term stability. Many in this fear to risk short-term stability because that holds them back from long-term fulfilled life. So they're so into fighting the moment that they can't see down the road. And so what I want some of you to do is I don't want you, if you ever seen somebody in our business, we're going to use our business as an example here. If you ever seen someone in our business that's running so wide open, I'm not going to name names, but I can remember someone. They were at our house. They had just made national marketing director. They were a national marketing director, and they were trying to make national marketing director. They had their first child, were pregnant with their second, still nursing the first. And at 2 a.m. in the morning, they were still laying in bed with their laptop, and they had gone through the first battery. They'd brought 2 laptops because now they were into their second laptop in between feedings in the middle of the night. They were running wide open. And I was like, if anybody could see you, they would not want to do what you do. Because if there was ever a picture of someone that was striving without balance, it was that person. Now there's a moment when we sacrifice, but there's a limit. But it was so consuming her that the task overcame the purpose, you know? And what I don't want you to feel is, I want you to feel like whatever you're doing in this business, it's one of the reasons we start the month well and we finish the month strong. It's because there are things that you need to be doing that you don't just feel like you're on the hamster wheel. You're actually climbing, you're making steps, you're getting closer to your destination. You know, the hamster wheel is kind of like that pond, that stagnant pond. It just sits there and the shoreline it just kind of flutters up and down and up and down. And you see it sitting next to the river who's got a definite current heading towards its destination. The striving person doesn't have a current or a direction or a target. They're just trying as hard as they can. And instead of making sure they're on the right track, doing the right things, talking to the right people, they just do more and more of the same thing. And we don't want to get to calling names, but what do you call someone, ourselves included, that keeps doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting different results? We won't name names, but sometimes you got to change for things to change. And so you got to get out of that striving mentality, okay? Now, this is a strange one because I think to me, COVID put a lot of people in this drifting mindset. And I'm going to read to you a little bit about a drifter for a minute. Carol says insane. Yes, insane, or you call him an idiot. What's the definition of insanity? It's continuing to do the same thing, expecting different results. Good call, Carol. So life is a journey, and it's all about finding yourself. This is the drifter, okay? Life's a journey. It's all about finding yourself. This is the mantra for drifters. They move from job to job looking for a perfect fit for their careers. I mean, they're on LinkedIn trying to figure out what's next before they figure out how to do better at where they are. I mean, there's some coaches in America today that have abandoned, we won't name names, that have abandoned championship teams they've built because they're drifting trying to find their spot. You know, and it's sad, but they're high achievers, but in reality, they're drifters because they would leave where they are thinking the grass is greener. And there's a whole nother philosophy. I mean, do y'all know people that always look for greener grass? And then the crazy thing happens. They see greener grass, the greener pasture, and the crazy thing happens. They get over there, and dang it, they realize that you got to mow the grass over there too. It was all just something that rung the bell of immediate gratification. And that greener grass in the moment that was greener than their yard, that didn't have any dog poop in it, that was cut and manicured and smooth and no weeds, for that moment they jumped. And then the weeds came and their dog got in the backyard and they still had to use the lawnmower, you know? And that's what the drifter does. They're not anchored to anything. When the going gets tough, they pack things up for the next gig. When a football coach needs more money to pay players because of the transfer portal and NIL, they abandon the players they have and they go to find somebody that promises that you can dig in their pocketbook. You know, that's what coaching's become today. Drifters have a false sense of purpose that changes with the wind. They're not anchored, so they're easy to move. They're easy just to flip and flop. And their lives look adventurous because they move around and they change, and it's like, wow, new territory, new scenery, new house. But they lack the foundation that comes from grit and resilience. They just have never done what it took to put some roots down and make something amazing where they are. You know, people want to follow a stable person with a stable foundation. And these drifters, even though their adventure looks good, those that follow the drifters soon either find themselves drifting or like, this is not going to work for me. I've got to have some kind of foundation, some kind of anchor in my life. But they're comfortable with risk. That's what's interesting, because we know there's some level of risk required with success. Does anybody know the three words that Jesus, one of the three words he said the most to people he was counseling and encountering, and God said to them in Scripture? It's do not be afraid. says it, I mean, over and over and over again. He says, do not be afraid. I am with you. Do not be afraid. And so we're not supposed to fear, but we have to evaluate risk as it may, if we are herky jerky with our risk and we take people along with us without a plan and without an anchor and a foundation, we're in trouble. But these people fear commitment and they don't want to be tied down. So there's a percentage of you listening and a percentage of you that might listen to the recording of this that would say you're in that drifting category. And you know what? What I would say is all of us have been in all four of these categories at some point in time in our life. So it's not like I'm better than you. I've never been a drifter. Oh yeah, you have. There's been a point in time in your life, at least with an area of your life, you were floating. If you haven't been there yet, you will. It's not like you avoid that. It's like you identify it and you don't stay there long. You get out of it. And that's the goal here. Remember, we're coming to an end of the year, and we don't want to be a drifter in 2026. We don't want to be someone identified as a striver on the hamster wheel in 2026. We don't want to be the person. Let me give you an example in our business. If you came and looked in my office, one day I'll get my other camera out and try and show you. I have cords and cables everywhere because I have more gadgets plugged in. If you come in here, it would be dangerous because you could trip over something very easily. My desk is piled with all kind of stacks of paper and crap and all kind of stuff. But I mean, I'm highly functional, communicating, connecting with people. But my office is a mess. And somebody might say, why don't you get more organized? Well, I know people on my team, I couldn't even find a business card right now if you told me to find one. I got one somewhere. But they have the most beautiful business cards. They have them, stacked up on their desk in a business card holder, although their office is at home and they don't ever see clients there. But they're ready. They have business cards in their cup holder, in their car, in their pocketbook, and they're ready whenever they meet somebody. They are more organized. They have every video known to man. They have links and notes and places. And I admire people that are that organized, but then in the same breath, I have a hard time finding, how do you have time to stay so organized and do what you're called to do and be on purpose and on mission and build healthy families around the world or inspire healthy living around the world? And you know what? I have to decide, am I going to have the most organized office? Or am I going to say, no, Lori, this is my office. We're not decorating in here. I know where everything is. And I just let it be because I'm highly functional right here, but I may not be highly organized. And so you have to decide going into next year, are you like, do you praise yourself and pat yourself on the back because you're so organized? And that's maybe you're spending time there, keeping you from something else. Because the goal here is all of us have been in each of these four categories. So don't bask in your glory because maybe you're not a drifter right now. Oh, I don't do that. You have, or you will, and it's a risk for you to get into that mode. I'm not a striver. I don't spin the hamster wheel. I mean, I am purpose-driven. I am focused on the end in mind. Okay. But you're going to get in a rut at some point in time when you find something that you really like doing. And maybe it was productive for a moment, but you stay in that rut because you don't want to make a change and learn and grow and become the leader you need to be for the next level. So you stay stuck in management mode or whatever. Sometimes you don't think about being in management mode and just talking to the same people over and over again and not building and growing your business. You don't think of that as you being in this striving mode, but it is you doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again, expecting different results or, surviving. This is one I want to get out. You don't have to stay here. This is where I know people that I think get depressed because they feel like, if you use the boat analogy, how in the H am I going to get this boat back where it's floating again? We got to do that. We got to get your boat back, your figurative boat back in the figurative ocean. So you cannot enter this new year. I don't want you to feel like a ship without a sea. If you feel like that you're the number one person I would love to get on the phone with. If you feel like you are a ship without a sea, we need to talk. Okay. And then where we want to be this next year is thriving. Let me read this to you and then we'll talk. Thriving is a fruitful life lived where mission and making, mission meaning purpose, passion, collide with work and impact. That perfect intersection. That's that upper right quadrant. And fulfilled people recognize that the path to live a healthy and purposeful life takes a commitment to deeply know your identity, value, and worth. They recognize that life is full of risk and opportunity. Because of their confidence in their purpose, they're willing to make a life for themselves. They keep their dreams and work in balance by being incredibly intentional with their yes and their no. Fulfilled people make a life by being confident in their why, purpose, passion, committed to their what, and competent in their how. You know, I probably could never recommend that you go read this book because it's boring, but it's a great book if you can just grab the punchlines out of it. I tell you what I would do. Whoever your Charlie is, mine's Chat GPT, but tell your Charlie, if you use Chat GPT or Gemini or Anthropic or Claude or whatever or Copilot, if you're a Microsoft junkie, go tell it to summarize the book for you, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's an amazing story of a man who survived the Nazi prison camps in the Holocaust when everybody around him died. And he tells how he survived, why he survived, what made him different from the ones that didn't. And my mom used to say it this way. I'm not sure this is the exact quote because he was German and it had to get translated into English. But it basically is, if the why is strong enough, the how will come. So focus more on the why than the how, because if your why is strong enough, if your tomorrow is clear enough, if the why is strong enough, the how will come. If the tomorrow is clear enough, you'll do today what you need to do. So we want to move into that next year. And what we're going to be doing next, what is that? Is that a Thursday or next week? No, next Wednesday. Instead of doing our end of the year, end of the month, finish strong call, we're going to combine that with our final episode of our best year ever regimen. And we've got several speakers. The flyer will be coming out. It's going to be me and some targeted people that I'm interviewing. We're working on the format to finish that up. We've been working hard on this wellness reset, so it's taken a lot of time. But in this Accelerate into 2026, we're going to leverage something that I think is one of the greatest things our company ever did to move into next year. There are two things that I think if you were to ask me, what are some things we did in the past that we could go grab that we need to cling to and bring back? One of them is that Juice Plus is not the everything. Juice Plus is one simple step, one simple change to a new and healthier you. And it bridges the gap between where you are and where you should be. So I would challenge you. I think we could really use and regroup and talk to people about making one simple change. That's the front door. That's the initial conversation. Have you thought about what if I could help you with just one change? What if there was one thing you could do in 2026 that would make a huge difference, but it would be easy for you to comply with? It wouldn't be a New Year's resolution where I need to go back and get the number. I think it's 97% of all New Year's resolutions are already broken by January the 19th. I mean, so why do we keep doing them? That's a high failure rate. So one simple change I would bring back, but this Accelerate into 2026. The other thing that I love, and I think my life is kind of centered around it without me talking a lot about it, and I want to talk more about it and communicate it better in 2026. And that's the 4 core principles to healthier living. Our company introduced them, but I don't think we've kept those pillars in front of us as well as we could. So this Accelerate into 2026, the event we're going to do next Wednesday evening, is going to be all about building your next year, building a healthy home. And that home is going to have those 4 pillars. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those 4 pillars are what? Who can name the 4 pillars? What are the 4 core? Anybody want to? Who's going to be? Who is quick on the keyboard? What are the 4 core? Nobody? Either my computer is really slow or you all are sitting on your thumbs or something. Okay, I will tell you. Somebody's going to guess here in a minute. The 4 core are more sleep, more rest. There we go. I mean, Carol came through again. I mean, that's what the Georgia Bulldogs do. They just come through. Y'all are getting shown up by the Bulldogs here. Carol says sleep, water, nutrition, and exercise. That's what we're going to focus on. Accelerate 2026. It's rest. And guys, I could spend we could do a retreat for us to talk about rest. I mean, literally, if you're not getting enough sleep and getting enough rest, you're not going to be healthy. Make that a priority for this next year for you. I mean, maybe that's the one simple change you need to make and add. We're going to talk about it, but here's a tip for the week. Set your alarm clock on what time you're supposed to go to bed instead of what time you're supposed to wake up. What time do you need to go to bed to make sure you get enough sleep? Make that a priority. You've got exercise. And, there are a lot that say the right kind of walking is the best exercise you can do. Is it playing pickleball? Is it going to Orange Theory? I know several of you ladies on here do Orange Theory. I mean, is it Debbie Walton? I mean, she can do the nitrous oxide rush. And Debbie, put a comment here. How long does somebody need to invest on a daily basis to get that nitrous oxide level up to what they need to do? What is your exercise routine? I know it's not an enormous amount of time, but Debbie is amazing. And Debbie's making a video. She's going to be a part of this Accelerate 2026. And she and I are going to have a call about that later today. She agreed to do the video. We've both been so busy. We got to knock that out. So rest, drink enough water, half your body weight in ounces. I told a new chiropractor, I said, you need to drink half your body weight in water. And he's from Australia. And he said, I weigh 190 pounds. He said, there's no way I can drink 95 pounds of water a day. I forgot to say half your body weight in ounces. I just said, you need to drink half your body weight in water. And he left the phone call and he called me back and said, how do you drink 95 pounds of water a day? He took it so literally. There's Debbie. 3.5 minutes, guys. It's not how many minutes you invest. It's being intentional about your exercise. So rest, hydration, half your body weight in water, and, do some little things. One of my things to make sure I start the day with water, I love my cup of coffee with my quiet time in the morning. But guess what? I have to drink 40 ounces of water before I can have my first cup of coffee. Every day I do that. I mean, literally, I was off and on for a while. I was striving. I wasn't thriving in that area of my life. And I have my little 40-ounce Owala water bottle or my Yeti water bottle, whichever one I'm using for the day. And I mix that up in the morning. Sometimes I throw a superfood powder in there. Sometimes I'm mixing it up with some other stuff. But I've got 40 ounces of water, and I have to drink that before my first cup of coffee. What could you guys do to set a goal where okay, you have to do this? What's something you enjoy every day and make yourself hit a water goal before you get to enjoy that? Debbie's thing's called the nitric oxide HIT, high impact training, and it gets amazing results. And she's got some videos. I know we can find those and share those. So exercise, hydration, rest. And the other is nutrition. And it used to be, I've heard it said it's plant-based, it's whole food. I think it's whole food and non-processed food. So I'm going to come up with a better name for that pillar because doesn't need to be strict legalistically. Because some of us are vegan, some are 100% plant. Some of us are committed to some amazing, fresh salmon from Alaska to get your omegas in. And there's even amazing really good grass-fed beefs and things that we can eat. We just have to eat non-processed, non-hormone fed and those kind of things. It's hard to find, but we want to do better this next year. But one of our cores being a whole food-based, plant-based, and especially plant-centered, I guess you would say, and a non-processed food diet, okay? So we're going to focus on those 4 things. How do we accelerate into 2026 and our house is grounded and held up by those 4? What does a healthy home look like? So we're going to talk about that on Accelerate into 2026. I love podcasts. I love audios. I like to multitask, whether I'm walking, running, doing something around the house. I was listening to podcasts while I was putting Christmas lights in the yard. Whatever you're doing, make good use to what's going in your brain. And we have a new podcast comes out every second and fourth Thursday. You can jump on that if you want to. This was really good when Alexis Busselman and I talked about a mom of five, single mom of five. What does she do to build a business, be an entrepreneur, and it's her Juice Plus business? And how does she manage the busyness of taking care of five, putting being a mom first, and being an entrepreneur? It was a great talk we had together. You ought to listen to that. More and more people are liking this. They've discovered that when I say, do you want me to poke you with a cattle prod once a week, that is a figurative term. It's not something that I'm going to cause pain. It's something that's going to provoke intentionality in your life. I want you, if I could wish one thing for you for 2026, is I would wish that you would wake up every Sunday. I mean, not wake up every Sunday night or wake up every Monday morning, and that you would take the week in front of you and you would control the destiny of that week and not let the world just throw its crap at you, because the world is going to do that. And the devil's going to be involved because he's like a roaring lion seeking who he can devour. So do you want to plan your week, put God in it, put God first, put the right stuff in your week, plan it out, be wise, right relationships, right conversations? Or do you want the world to fill those voids with a bunch of crap and a bunch of crappy people? Who knows? Okay. Well, how do you start that process? You decide you are going to take control of your week. You're going to make your week happen. You're not going to let it happen. And this is just a reminder. There is nothing earth-shattering. I'm not a sage or wisdom source for how to make your week amazing. It's just going to be something simple. A thought for the week. It's a positive, encouraging, motivational thought. And then a question at the bottom. What are you going to do to make this week happen? So you're going to get it every Monday morning. You can text wake up to that number. You can share it with your spouse, your kids, your siblings, your team, whoever you want to. And you can get off whenever you want, but it's one text a week, and we're not going to violate that, okay? And then we have one more event. It's next week at 7 p.m. There is no next week in the morning call. We're combining the Finish Strong call with our year-end call, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. next Wednesday, and that's that right there, okay? And I really mean it. If you're at a place, you can find me. This is just a slide. You can find me anywhere at Curt Beavers. I got into all these different online platforms early enough I got to use my name. But if you're in one of these categories and you want to talk about it, that's what pushes my hot button. Feel free to call me, grab my calendar. It's calendar.curtbeavers.com. You can find a slot and a time, and I would love to help you walk through and see where you are and how do you get to a place where you can be thriving in 2026. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be awesome. But if you just let it happen, the world and the devil are going to seize that moment. But when you get up, you put on that armor, you have the faith, and you have a plan, and you put God's wisdom first, Satan can't mess with that. So 2026 is going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. And thank you for joining this morning. I appreciate you guys. I get to go do something fun. I'm going to go cut a load of firewood and take it to a family that's financially not very sound, and they heat their house with a wood-burning stove. That family was revealed last night in our small group. So I'm kind of excited about putting on my boots and my flannel shirt and cutting a load of firewood and putting it in my truck and taking it to a family that I can help them keep their home warm over the holidays. Find somebody you can go pour into. It'll be exciting. God bless. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the 17th. Oh, and I think Christy Claimer is going to do Carrie Daigle's Monday night call, and it'll be another session where she's going to explain the wellness reset. So Sharon put it in the board here above the page for the wellness reset, but we would love to have you join us in that. It's going to be amazing. Okay. God bless.